It is 2:00 a.m. The facility is dead quiet except for the sound of 400 pounds of iron slamming against rubber. Society looks at the young man under that bar and sees peak discipline. They see the torn calluses and sheer willpower and call it the grind set. You think you are building a temple, or, well, that is what it feels like. But psychologically, what we may be witnessing is a culture masking deep distress. For many, this extreme physical output begins to look less like discipline and more like a socially sanctioned containment protocol. You are not constructing a monument to health. You are pouring millions of tons of concrete over an exposed, melting core. When a nuclear reactor melts down, engineers do not try to fix the machine. They frantically bury it under lead and reinforced concrete to stop the internal instability from destroying the surrounding city. The massive structure they build is just a heavy, dead tomb. It is a biological sarcophagus. It is a Tuesday night. You are sitting in your car in the gym parking lot with the engine off. The pre-workout dopamine has faded, leaving a cold, metallic exhaustion in your chest. You stare at the steering wheel for 10 minutes before turning the key. You do not name the feeling. You just start the engine and drive home in the dark. That is the part the algorithm never shows. When an individual pushes their body to the extreme of tearing muscle fibers and ignoring severe joint degradation to numb the mind, it can border on self-destruction. Because this physical punishment produces a socially desirable aesthetic, the culture rewards it with virality instead of asking what is wrong. It is incredibly easy to use this as a disguise. You put on noise-canceling headphones and blast heavy metal until your ears ring. That is a clinical tactic known as acoustic masking, using loud noise to deliberately block out quiet thoughts. It ensures the silence of an unhealed history never catches up to you. And look, I get it, I really do. The willpower required to construct a sarcophagus of that magnitude is staggering. You have survived this long, and the mechanism you built to protect yourself is nothing short of an architectural marvel. When your life feels like it is in freefall, the iron is the only thing that makes sense. And then the set is over. You rack the weight, grab your keys, and it is just Tuesday night again. One more tab open on the phone, one more meal to prep. Which is an incredible amount of mathematical effort, just to avoid sitting quietly in an empty room. The modern world is an uncontrollable open system. Inflation erodes capital. The housing market feels entirely locked. Modern relationships are algorithmically volatile, leaving you swiping on screens where you are statistically invisible. The nervous system cannot tolerate infinite variables. It seeks a closed system. The gym is a flawless mathematical loop. You input physical suffering, and you extract a measurable metric. Adding 5 pounds to a bar is the only guaranteed return on investment for a man who feels entirely powerless everywhere else. And what this does, or rather, what it keeps doing over time, is give you a localized illusion of absolute sovereignty. You track macros, obsessively counting every single gram of protein and fat. You manipulate these variables like control rods in a reactor. You eat 150 grams of protein, you lift heavy, you grow. But the environment that originally made you feel powerless is not here in this room anymore. You are. The pattern was built by circumstances. It is maintained by habit, and habits can be examined. There is something in the research on this that I keep coming back to. The National Institutes of Health suggest that extreme physical regimens rarely exist in isolation. Evidence points out they frequently walk hand in hand with severe anxiety and emotional avoidance. For many people, the inability to process heavy emotions acts as a bridge between an unresolved past and a current addiction to the iron. The delayed onset muscle soreness, the physical ache you feel days after lifting, is not just a biological byproduct. It acts as a physical anchor. It gives you a localized, acceptable pain to focus on so you do not have to feel the abstract, unacceptable pain radiating from the core. The math of modern mental health is brutal. Traditional clinical intervention costs $150 to $200 out of pocket for a single hour. It requires sitting in a chair, looking someone in the eye, and admitting you are terrified. A commercial gym membership costs $30 a month, and it lets you drown out the silence with a pre-workout scoop. When the traditional medical infrastructure prices out an entire generation of young men, and society simultaneously stigmatizes male vulnerability, those men do not magically stop needing triage. They simply relocate the emergency room. The gym isn't your dojo of self-mastery. It is a $30 a month psychiatric triage tent. You are operating a hazardous emotional containment facility simply because society priced you out of real help. This leads to the Sarcophagus Paradox. Often, the thicker the armor, the deeper the underlying fear. You are using the physical plates to press down an emotional meltdown. The heavier the concrete walls need to be on the outside, the more dangerously unstable the core is on the inside. Your aesthetic armor is not always proof of your strength. Sometimes, it is proof of a critical internal hazard. You are listening to an analysis about why you lift heavy objects to avoid feelings. There is something in that. I do not fully understand why this part hits so hard, but a person cannot deadlift their way out of a depressed baseline. You cannot lift your way out of a criticality incident. The iron does not heal you. It merely exhausts the nervous system enough to temporarily pause the panic. You can build an impenetrable physical fortress, but if the architect inside is bleeding out, the walls are irrelevant. You did not choose this, but you are the one who can notice it. Maybe the first step isn't dismantling the routine. Maybe it is just taking the headphones off for the walk to the car. The next time you finish a set, leave the music off on the drive home. Just sit with the baseline silence. Notice what you feel when the exhaustion wears off, the metrics are put away, and the engine is the only sound in the dark. If something here landed and your first instinct is to click away, stay with it 10 seconds longer than you want to. You will probably go back to the squat rack tomorrow. Not because you did not understand any of this, because understanding and changing do not move at the same speed. But I keep wondering what would happen if the system powered down, just for 10 minutes, and you let the silence catch up to you. What are you protecting that you have never looked at directly?